Warning, this video requires a high attention span. If you're not ready, feel free to come back another day, but if you are, enjoy the video. Hi, my name is Cappie and today I will be talking about how you can enjoy your life without needing overstimulation. Because let's be honest, someone really needs to make a video on this topic, like an actual good video. Because there have been a lot of YouTube videos already which explain like the importance of quitting your bad habits like doom scrolling, playing video games, watching Netflix, and replace them with these healthier alternatives like going to the gym, meditation, and reading books, for example. Especially a couple of years ago when we had the dopamine detox trend going on, there would be a lot of people who would make these videos where they explain that when you stop doing all these overstimulating activities, you would start to do like the more healthier activities that would give you more natural levels of dopamine. Then you would be able to reset your dopamine levels and you would be able to have fun in your life again without needing overstimulation in your life. And I would say that this is decent advice because it really helped me to live like a more healthy and balanced life. But the problem is that after I made this shift, I always had this feeling that I was deprived of having any fun in my life. Because let's be honest, going to the gym is great and amazing and it can make you feel really good after you went there. But while you're doing it, it can be exhausting. It can definitely be very painful. And then sometimes you just want to do something that is a little bit fun and relaxing to do. So I ended up in this situation where I would either be doing all the like overstimulating activities like playing video games and watching YouTube videos and then, have a lot of fun doing these. But then on the other hand, I would have my dopamine receptors fried, so I would feel miserable in the rest of my life. Or I would be doing all the healthy choices and healthy alternatives like reading books, going to the gym and meditation. And I would have like higher energy levels, so to say, and just feel better overall. But then on the other hand, I would have the downside that I would be bored more often and have this feeling that I was missing out on pleasure in my life. So for years, I started asking myself the question, how can I have both? How can I have a life where I both don't need overstimulation and I can also have like a fun experience in my life? And fortunately, I know the answer to that question, guys, and it's actually relatively simple because all that you need to do is simply look at an overstimulating activity that you like and then find a way to get the same pleasure that you get from that activity, but then in a healthier way. For example, back in the days, I really liked to play video games and then specifically the games of like the Nintendo franchise, so Pokemon and Mario, for example, and also like the more like simple and addictive mobile games like Plants vs. Zombies and Clash of Clans. And when I started thinking about what I really liked about those games, I came up with a couple of things here, which were, first of all these games gave me a sense of progression and achievement. I had this feeling that I was leveling up, which I really liked. And second of all these games incorporated this element of collecting things. So whether in Pokemon it's like catching all the Pokemon, or like in Clash of Clans you would like level up your base and gather all the troops and stuff like that, or Plants vs. Zombies where you gather all the plants, etc. Like I really liked that aspect of the games as well. And then last of all, what these games also had in common, which I really liked, is that they all had these like very vibrant and cool and cartoony designs, which Nintendo, for example, is very well known for. So then when I stopped playing video games and I would start to go to the gym instead, like all those YouTubers told me to do, at first that felt very great. Because just like video games, the gym gave me a sense of progression and leveling up. Because just like in the video games where you're leveling up a video game character, now I was leveling up my own character, like my own character in real life, which of course felt very great. But then on the other hand, I also had this feeling like there was still something missing in my life. Like something I also found very fun that was now suddenly not in my life anymore. And those were, of course, the aspects of collecting things and the vibrant designs of these video games. Because these are not available, of course, when you go to the gym anymore. I wasn't collecting anything anymore and I wasn't engaging anymore with that like creative and artistic side that I loved about all these Nintendo games. So that's when I started asking myself, what can I do that involves the aspect of collecting something or these like cool and artistic designs? And after looking into this for a while, the answer I came up with is to start creating clay sculptures. And honestly, guys, this is just a very fun activity to do because not only does it incorporate these aspects of collecting things and like having these vibrant designs available to me and engaging with this fun art style, it also has the added benefit that it isn't overstimulating at all. So you can just sit there calmly and just work on my projects and without feeling overwhelmed or anything like that. So basically, I took an activity that I really liked, which were video games in this case. I removed all the addictive and overstimulating aspects of it. and I made sure that I did something that retained all the like fun aspects about it. And then when we look at another example like Netflix here, which is also something I really like to enjoy doing and which is unfortunately also overstimulating, I did the exact same thing. Because I would make a list of all the shows that I really liked. I would find like the common denominator of these shows, which in this case were like I really liked watching thriller series. And then I replaced it with something that was healthier instead and also had the same benefit. So in my case, I started to read fiction books, and then specifically books that were also thrillers in this case, because then once again, I would have the same benefit, but then in a healthier way. So if you want to do something like this in your own life as well, it's very important to start diving really deep into like the core aspects of what you really like about those overstimulating activities that you do. Because sometimes, for example, you might not even know what it is that you really like about those things. At first, when I quit playing video games, I thought that the only thing I liked about those games, besides like all the addictive aspects, of course, was to have a sense of progression and a sense of achievement and leveling up. But then after a while, of course, I figured out that it wasn't the only thing, because I started diving deeper into it and I started to make a list of all the video games that I was playing. And then I even asked like ChatGPT, like, hey, what are all the common patterns between these games that I've played in the past? And then I came up with a lot of more answers. I came up with all these things like, collecting stuff and the vibrant designs, like I just mentioned, but also like having a good versus evil dynamic or having the element of strategic thinking involved. So if you used to do a lot of these overstimulating activities and right now you've quit doing them and you feel like there's something you're missing out on in your life, start making a list of these things and find out the common patterns between them. If you like playing video games, ask yourself, which games do you play? If you like watching Netflix, ask yourself, which shows do you watch? If you like watching YouTube, ask yourself, which creators do you follow? And then make lists of each of them and then use something like ChatGPT or, just brainstorm on your own or something like that to find the common patterns between those things. And then what you can then do, of course, is to use this knowledge to come up with healthier alternatives for them. Now, what's important to keep in mind here is that while you are in this process and in this search of finding like a healthier alternative in this case, then you need to stay very patient because it can actually take a while before you actually find something that is both not overstimulating and also fun and entertaining. For example, before I started getting into sculpting clay figures, there were also a couple of other things which I tried as an alternative to gaming, so to say. First of all, I tried painting. I tried to paint some Pokemon and stuff like that. And, I wasn't very good at it. It was very hard for me, which is why I really didn't enjoy doing it. Like the image that you're seeing on your screen right now is literally just an image from Google. I didn't actually make it myself. And then I also tried another thing like making figures out of Lego, but then that was a little bit too easy for me. And Lego is also very expensive. So it wouldn't be like a hobby that would be sustainable for me in the long run, so to say. So both of these weren't very good candidates for me, despite both incorporating these aspects of collecting things and these vibrant designs, which I really liked. So it took me a while to eventually figure out a right balance here, which is of course in my case to make clay sculptures. So it can take some time, guys, and that means that if you're in the search yourself, it may also take some time for you before you start to get it right, which means that you need to try a lot of different things and simply be patient. And something that can help you in the search is by realizing that you are allowed to use multiple activities to cover multiple specific needs that you have. Because when we bring back my own example here, we can see that when I stopped playing video games, I replaced it with 2 activities, which were going to the gym, which replaced the aspect of progression, and also sculpting clay figures, which replaced the other aspects, of course. So whether it's like social media or Netflix or video games that you're trying to get rid of, you have to keep in mind here that there's not just one thing that you need to do to replace that whole other thing. You can use multiple activities to cover all the fun aspects of them. So now to summarize all of this for you, step 1 is to make lists of all the games you played and all the shows you've watched and all the creators that you followed. Step 2 is to find the common patterns between these things. So figure out what it is exactly that you really liked about those things. Step 3 is to remove the addictive aspects of the overstimulating activity and replace it with healthier alternatives while keeping the fun. And with keeping the fun, I mean retain the aspects that you found out in step 2. And then step 4, and also the last step, is to simply keep trying out new different activities to replace those specific needs. And also stay patient. And that brings us to the end of the video here, guys. I hope that right now you know exactly what you need to do after watching this video. And if so, then that leaves me with only one thing left to say. That's to get off YouTube and start implementing the tips I just gave you so you won't forget about this advice and actually change your life. Stop thinking, start doing. Take care.